think this is a conversation starting at least about finding inspiration. And this, I have no idea where I want this to go. There's no, so a lot of our
present
curiosity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. And a weird kind of indistinguishable wave of sadness, which always shows up in these situations.
You say hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi, sadness.
So a lot of our conversations around like passion and spark and the divinity and like really being connected to that thing that you just wake up and you're just like, oh, I want to do that. And it's not, I know it's not about the doing, but you're inspired to, you're compelled to to taste it and try it on and look at it from something from a different angle and to play and to many facets. And I don't feel that inspiration now. And I'm curious about finding that inspiration. And I think maybe a part of that is looking, like everything else, looking at the truth of that I don't feel that inspiration right now. In the way where it's like something lights me up. I mean, I have little bits of inspiration, but not full, like, and this meditation retreat that I'm going on, the big question, the truth that I'm bringing in is, am I inspired to really own my own like personal growth journey? So maybe it feels like there's two conversations of inspiration here. One around,
I'm not sure. I think I want to say.
Okay.
Because it's about self-discovery. And implicit in self-discovery is what's there.
Right. So that's right. Okay.
Yeah. So I think the most important thing is, what do you make it mean? You know, and how you hold, I'm not inspired, I'm not. You know, I think that's the most important. In the service of what? Is it in the service of fixing something? In the service of something wrong? Or is it in the service of, I know there's something inside of me and I'm really curious to find out what that is.
Yeah.
Or I don't feel there's anything inside of me and there's something wrong with that and I should really go find that out.
The kernel of the feeling is a dissatisfaction. I'll go into what that. On Friday with Sebastian, with our new buddy chat, I was able to articulate very clearly that there is at least a knowing that there's more inside of me here that's not being expressed. That doesn't feel like a should or a doing, because I have tastes of that expression. And I know that when I am full of joy and expressing and being connected with others or engaged in something, it feels really good and more natural for me. So that doesn't feel like it's a should. So that feels like there's the dissatisfaction. Okay, there's multiple things that are showing up.
You see how, see what happens when we pay attention.
Yeah.
It's like all this stuff begins to emerge that really lives inside and needs to be understood and inquired into and felt and, you know, handled in some way.
Mm-hmm. So there is a piece of, I feel stagnant, and there's something wrong with that. That there's, so that does exist.
Yeah, but so let's tease it even more, because I feel stagnant, and there's something wrong with that. Is that like I'm a bad person?
It feels,
or is there's something wrong with feeling stagnant because there's something else inside of me and wants to. So you want to distinguish again. Am I bad? Am I wrong? You know, I'm not worthy. Is it coming from that, or is it coming from?
In this moment,
I don't like.
No, in this moment, it feels like wasteful, like. There is something around potential that's showing up.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like it's bad boy, like not good enough thing. It just feels, it's not me. It's like a blah around, like I know that there's more. I know there's more of me to give into this world.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is where I'm, you know, like I'm just listening to the tone of the voice, mm-hmm. right? I'm listening to the words, right? Mm-hmm. So like, I just want to look into that. I know there's more. Mm-hmm. Like I know there's more, or I know there's more. Because I know there's more, and then I feel there's more. I know there's more. So I'm hearing this.
There's a voice that when I was just dropped into the belly breathing and mm-hmm. coming a little bit lower into my energy, and there was a voice that was like, enough already. That's what showed up. Like, what are you waiting for?
So notice the shift in the conversation. You need to hang out. You need to hang out with what's up. You're trying to go somewhere. You're trying to make something happen. And you just need to hang out. Right now. Here. And presence everything that's there. You know, the stagnation, the feelings of waste, the feelings of lack of growth, the feelings of something wants to emerge, the feelings of whatever. But I'm not feeling your dropping into it all. Just dropping into like water. I feel wet. So I'm still hearing so if we're going to talk about curiosities, what am I curious about? And the same with like, you know, those moments when you say you experience this passion, or you experience this being lit up, you know, what are those moments? When do they occur? Can you bring one up now?
The first thing that shows up is is being with people when there's like a real human to human connection with lots of different individuals in the same room.
Okay.
If it's playing music, or if it's just talking, if it's having a dinner, if it's not specific.
So sharing experience in community, other people. What about like an activity that's, you know, well, let me remind you of one that I know for sure. When you're doing a birthday video or a card for a community member, you become amazing and you love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that a time that you feel inspired and passionate about what you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm talking more about that. Yeah. So yes, of course, there's the collective sharing and inspirational that we all, but in terms of your own divine spark, you know, when you're doing the inquiry, you want to go inquire, when do I get lit up? What activity am I engaged in that I get lit up about?
So there's another like voice or conversation that's been going on in and I know that we've addressed this before, but it showed up again, so I'm gonna bring it up. I know that there's so many different things that I haven't explored, and I like start to explore something, and then I stop, and I won't go fully into it, and then I kind of like feel stuck in a one path, and then somehow I'm not taking ownership that I'm stuck in this one path because I'm not exploring anything else in true depth, with fervor.
Yeah. So that's what's up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. The thing is to, you know, again, we're in this territory, you know, called inspiration or their lack of.
Yeah. Well, I'm in that territory right now.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
And then just really coming empty to that space, really coming with curiosity and inquiry into that space. Like, what's up with that? And then looking to see who's coming to that space in the service of what? Is it in the service of a compulsion to come to that space because I'm excited about learning what's there for me, you know? Or is it in the service of, I want to be a good boy and I want to do right and I want to figure it out so that I can show up in some particular way that will make me feel valuable and worthy?
There's part of it that I feel like I'm use a word that like a failure in our environment.
Mm-hmm.
We have this vision of like people coming with their spark and their inspirations and all their gifts and like sharing into the pot. And
well, that's the vision, but also what's implicit in that vision for most people,
that we're not there.
It doesn't exist. They don't know what their divine spark is. So
there's certain things that
so let's stop there.
Okay.
So there's a judgmental mind about you don't already have it, that actually prevents you from being anywhere other than I don't have it.
Yeah, this came up in my buddy chat with Sebastian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is a judgmental mind that I don't have it. And there is a disconnect with the vision that we have here is that most people don't have it. And that we're creating a space that's safe for people to kind of begin to look at their schmutz and look at, all the kind of negativity and quackery that lives inside of us, so that we can lower that, so that we can hear what shows up. But that thing is not going to come up until we first acknowledge all the schmutz that prevents us from getting there, right? So that's our path. But your ego sort of hijacks that whole thing and continues to say, therefore I'm bad, or therefore something is wrong with me. And then you're stuck in that loop of something's wrong with me because I don't already have it. When 99% of the population probably doesn't have it. Or if they do, they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to express it because they got all that other emotional schmutz that they can't even, plow through and break through.
Yeah. And then there's part of me that I know it's not the truth.
Yeah.
But part of the story is that I feel trapped by whatever railroad tracks I've laid before.
Uh-huh.
And also, I'm not sure where I'm running away from components of divine spark, and where it's really like not something that's a divine spark. You know what I mean? So,
right. And so that's a story. Yes.
Which part's the story?
The whole thing you just said. I feel trapped by what I've laid before.
That's clear to me that's the story.
Right.
Yeah. And then I'm confused, and that's the story also. Mm-hmm. I'm confused that I don't know which.
Yeah, I mean, because once you feel trapped, and of course you're going to be confused, so they're part and parcel of the same process, right?
Yeah.
So the trap has to do with the fact that there is no being with everything that what is. The trap has to do with the fact that it should look this way. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. You should be doing that. Yeah. Why don't you have it already? Something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. You should be doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've spoken about this numerous times. The opportunities for going and tasting are huge.
That felt really fast.
Yeah, it was. I don't want to just put the 10 minutes just so we can.
Yeah.
So, yes?
Yeah.
So we've talked about all the possible opportunities that exist, but that you're not taking any of those opportunities because you're not ready for that. You're not. So you know, the feeling of trap is not because of the trap you're in or the confusion. The trap is because you won't be with the trap. Because there's the world is your oyster.
Yeah, the choice that I'm making is my own choosing.
Yeah, nobody's trapping you in anything, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the same as people that like are working for a living, but it's not what they're passionate about, you know, and then they feel trapped by that. The reality is they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
They can manifest whatever they want. But first you have to be with what's so and see that you're not choosing it. If you're choosing it and that's what you're choosing, you're not getting off what you're choosing. You have to take ownership for what you're choosing. Mm-hmm. And you're choosing.
Yeah.
You're choosing to be here and choosing to make it wrong. So it's just about peeling, you know, like, again, we can't really enact in anything and see, you know, what's the underlying cause of something or how to proceed forward if we don't have a full appreciation of all the variables that are there that are impacting a particular way of being. If we don't understand what's there, how are we going to be able to do anything about it? If we don't see it, we don't feel it, we don't experience the implications of that. But you can't legislate inspiration.
No.
And you can't legislate self-discovery. It is impulse, curiosity, for curiosity's sake. And then when you bump into it, you don't want to stop doing it. You just can't. And yeah, most likely it's been legislated out of our lives, right? I mean, we know that. That's the fraud. That's the, you know, the insecurities, the suppression of our self-expression, our initiative, our imagination, our creativity, our possibility. It's all of that, yeah. We've been wired this way. We have to unwire, but first we have to see how we've been wired and how it's affecting our lives and what operates.
That was a weird one. I don't know why I just did that. There was no itch. It just was like a weird tick.
It has to do with self-worth. Comes back to that. And I'm worthy just because. And then being outrageous. Being outrageous is really like a cool thing to do. Just for the fuck of it. Kids are outrageous. I love Danielle's, you know, inclusion thing in. I'm looking, see, I was in the park with yesterday, and they're outrageous. I mean, they're like a whole bunch of little ones, you know, like 2, 3, 4-year-olds. They're outrageous. We beat the crap out of the outrageousness of children instead of like harnessing it, you know, and mobilizing it and towards like really constructive socialization. We suppress it. That's what lives inside each and every one of us. We have to unleash that. But first we have to recognize all the barriers and all the walls that we have emerged as a result of just hanging out.
Yeah.
Complete. For now.
Yeah,
There's nowhere to go.
I don't know what we just did, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't do much.
Yeah.
Just kind of presenced.
Yeah.
It is really about that. It's not about doing.
Yeah.
Until we peel. I mean, I was thinking of Daniel and it's like his passion for music or art, you know? And so if left to his own device, he will do nothing except that, you know? I mean, he's just like, you know, as he's doing most of the time. And it's like, okay, you go, bud, you got to like also make a living, right? So it's not enough just to be with the divine spark. You actually have to figure out and navigate the divine spark into. But the point is that when you're in the midst, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I just had a connection. So yeah, I hear you.
No. I'm interested in your connection more than what I said.
The connection was to Sebastian's, like, and the rigidity in thinking, because I have this rigidity of thinking that I can't do the money work inside of to usher that in, and other things, and or I'm not even sure if that's like my divine divine spark, but there's no room in my life to explore the other things. Like, so I have this mental picture that that's the case, and that's the connection.
And if the curiosity was stronger than anything, it would just go, fuck it. So the curiosity is the whole big thing. So it doesn't mean it's all or nothing. I mean, it's kind of like if you have to make a living in a job, you know, but you're not inspired by it, but you still have to be sustainable. You could do like that, and then the rest of the time do this. So it's not we tend to be in this, you know, like 0-1 world mind, and it is. It's all about the flexibility. It's all about creating the possibilities. But what's driving it is the curiosity. You know, like I have no choice in the matter. You know, I could be doing this, you know, and I got to be doing this the rest of the time. Every moment that I'm breathing, I'm going to do that. And 1 hour of that could be 8 hours of something else that's uninspiring. That's the, you know, and that can only be something felt. I cannot pour sight into your eyes that way. I cannot pour inspiration or curiosity. It has to come from a place of like, so when we go into the practicality, then we're doing mind again, you know, and then we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to fix it. It's trying to, but it's not fuck, you know?
Yeah, because one of the things that came up when Sebastian was talking for me was like, because he wasn't inspired to either inquire into why there wasn't an inspiration into the action, so he wasn't taking the action with like the fervor and the passion. So I'm applying that to myself in this situation.
It comes from a should. Comes from like, I need to figure out what my divine spark is, you know. It comes from a should. This is not a should. This is a what's up. What's up? I wake up in the morning and my life is uninspired. What is that about? What's living inside of me? We are excavating. It's an excavation. And that excavation has to come from, I really care to know about that. Because if I don't really care to know about that, it's not happening. But that's why I like to confront, because, you know, the ego has a wonderful way of like having us be comfortable in the ridiculous. So the confrontation, the aggression of the confrontation sometimes is a necessary place of like, stop being comfortable in this place. Stop lying to yourself. Stop being a hypocrite. Stop being a fraud. Of course, what the ego does with that, and it beats itself up and says, I'm such a bad boy, right? Instead of like, that little voice that screeches, right? Like, look at how you're faking yourself out. Look at how numb you are. Just be with what is. Any possibility to begin to reflect back that will like kind of speak to that other part of you that goes, what the fuck is that? Like, how do I wake up and go to a job I hate? How do I not give a shit? How am I being numb? But unless you look in the mirror and see that over and over again, the ego makes it normal. It habituates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like one of the things that's going on now with Donald Trump is he's normalizing crazy. He's normalizing crazy. We're going to habituate to crazy. That will take us to God knows where the fuck it's going to take us to. But it's habituating to crazy. We're really capable. This ego is capable of deluding and lying to us in such a way that we become comfortably numb. So our work is to just like put the mirror up and go, are you comfortable? Be uncomfortable, but not like beat yourself up like something is wrong. Just be uncomfortable enough to go into inquiry about that, to care to go into inquiry about that. What is the meaning of my life? To care about that. Not to legislate it, not to order it, not to be a good boy. And this is participating with abandon in activities that are going to refine your essence. It's not about this. It's not about this. But this will stretch the crap out of you if you really take that on. It will force you to look in the mirror. That's the constant reminder. It's not about changing the world. It's about looking within and seeing who I am and how I show up and what takes me out. What takes me out of life. And those challenges are there to take you out so that you can see what those are. So you can't hide. That's all we're about. Putting the mirrors up so you stop hiding. Stop pretending, stop deluding, stop going to sleep. Hence, the beaches are waiting for you.
Yeah, it's not about the beaches.
I'm being very specific here. I'm not playing here. I'm being specific. It is about the beaches. It's about choosing outrageous. You need to knock that part of you out somehow. Because that one you won't be able to tolerate. Your system will not be able to lie to yourself too long. Here, so your system is allowing yourself to lie to yourself. Can you get that? Go and do something incredibly frivolous and incredibly outrageous, where that little voice cannot go to sleep. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that's the spectrum. The spectrum is to be outrageous so that you can see how habituated you are. We all are. When you have a crisis or a trauma, something outrageous happens to us.
That's right. Okay, so you're not saying go on the beach and be outrageous. You're saying pick anything and be outrageous.
Anything. Yeah, anything. I'm going with the beach because it's so frivolous.
Yeah.
But it'll wake you up. Truly, it will. I mean, you could do this for a week, you could do this for a month, you could do it for 3 months. It'll wake you up. Because we all have that divine spark within that we came here to serve. And we're not going to be able to go have fun and pleasure, morning till night for weeks and months without feeling like, what the fuck is this all about? That's why all these millionaires and billionaires are working 24 hours a day. Why are all these people working all the time? Everybody's working all the time. Why? Because we came here to serve. Now, of course, it gets hijacked by the ego and it for the wrong purpose, but that's what we're here for. We're ready for the community? Hello?
That was super inspiring. I love this reminder of like chaos and then like pausing the inquiry and then like the space that opens up. But only if you acknowledge the chaos first.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Eric.
Yeah, I agree, Eric. It was really beautiful because it reminded me of the first day I met you, and we were kind of like bouncing around through Barcelona, and you were kind of guiding us with the app and just the real, and what a wonderful host you were to me and to us in that setting. And as you were speaking in your I saw it light up a little bit about how you were how you feel just that spark when you're interacting with people and in a social setting. And it dawned on me that host man, you could create host an incredible environment for magical things to happen. And I'm sure you'd completely lose yourself in totally in the moment, because that's, for me, it's a big part of it, is losing myself. I've lost who I am. I'm just so into what I'm doing. Whatever environment nurtures that for you, where you actually are eclipsed and you're just so into the moment. But I just, from your hosting nature and your generosity in that sense, it just came to me as an amazing possibility. But and then I also felt like, wow, I love how present you become to the moment, and how slow and how paused and how deep you go into yourself, and the spaciousness with which you allow things to arise. I noticed, I can be like more bouncy and bubbly, but I really like the slowness of going in deep and really in slow motion, watching, the things arise, and I think that that's a great strength, because it means that what you do and will do, it has deeper roots. So it's very solid from that setting. And it was also really nice to accompany you in that space of, because I don't wake up every morning with inspiration. So I wake up thinking about my hand. I wake up thinking about things, and then I choose to be like, okay, I know these are the things that light me up, and that's where I'm gonna go. And then magic happens in those contexts. So it is. So thank you for kind of the slow wave. There's there's that kind of wave, and then there's the. But maybe that the slow wave is a lot stronger than the quick ripple.
Well, it depends. I don't know.
Depends on the moment and what's required. Yeah.
But no, thank you for going deep into that moment.
Well, as you were saying, the slow wave, I was thinking of, I don't know what this relates to, but in Hawaii, the waves are really, really thick. And they're super powerful, but like they're very different from the waves here, because they just have this like long development cycle that we don't get in the same way. So they could be like, they're both really, really, they're actually much more powerful, but they're deceptively gentle. And you can actually like be with the waves in a more like flowing way, because they are so spacious. Mm-hmm. Except for pipeline, which is a whole nother, that's a reef break, and that's nasty. But most of the waves are like that. So thank you for bringing me into that. And there may be something to play with in the community thing. Well, there's definitely something to play with in the community space, because I am drawn to those, but I've lost my play with that. I don't take it too seriously now.
Katie, I'm sorry. Did you want to say anything to Eric before we ciao?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I was inspired. I was like kind of with you when you were talking about how you have expectation for yourself, like you kind of have a vision maybe of yourself a certain way, and how you get stuck in that, but in the way that we don't think about why we're there or just be there. Because I think sometimes I tend to wallow the opposite, like I'm there too long and I get lost like in this sort of like limbo, and I'm not going deep enough. So it was really nice to see how, you know, you and Ronit were able to navigate that space, because I think a lot of times with a lot of things, I kind of like try to get past it too quickly. Like, okay, I know this is an issue. Okay, I acknowledged it. Let's go, you know, you know, but it's not enough. And so it was a good reminder to be that space is a sacred space and not a space to like kind of rush through or try to like get rid of. So I think that was important for me, and a good reminder that it's a beautiful space. It's not a comfortable space, but you know, it's a sacred space, and that's our way to grow individually and together in that kind of space. So yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to say.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So, what are you feeling right now? You just witnessed a group of individuals sharing their innermost thoughts and feelings with each other without any fear of judgment or criticism. Imagine if all of us in the world would be able to be ourselves, share ourselves authentically without fear of being judged or criticized. Imagine if you in your family, with your friends, your colleagues, were able to be fully yourself. We would really discover how amazing we are. I invite you to share this with anyone that you feel would benefit from this experience. Let us all be love together.